Football can be a cruel game. Fans all around the world have experienced the disappointment that football carries with it. But enough doom and gloom. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at the top football bizarre moments. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. Number 12, Laurent Robert versus Olivier Bernard. The first, but not the last time two Newcastle players will make this list, Laurent Robert had one of the hardest shots in the league. So when you get hit by one in the head from just 10 yards away, it's gonna hurt. This would have been funny even without Bernard's attempts to stay upright before staggering backward and finally finding the floor. Robert was reportedly unhappy with Bernard's poor play before that, so he hit the ball as hard as he could. Bernard's head just got in the way. Number 11, Phil Babb versus the post. As Chelsea's Casiraghi put the ball in the net, Phil Babb heroically did the same. Unfortunately, he also put a ball on the wrong side of the post as well. Ouch. I don't think I have to say so much about this, just watch it and feel sorry for poor Phil Babb and his future lack of kids. Number 10, Didier Drogba versus Jens Lehmann. To be fair to Drogba, I'm sure he stepped on an especially slippery piece of grass just as Jens Lehmann viciously pushed him, and I'm sure Drogba in turn just caught Lehmann off balance. I mean, two fully grown professional athletes wouldn't go down that easily, would they? Well, yes, they would. They did, and while being hilarious to watch, it also shows all that's wrong with Premier League football to this day. Unfortunately for these two, however, Tom Daley just piped them to the final qualifying spot for Beijing. Number 9, Lee Bowyer versus Kieran Dyer. Football fights are entertaining most of the time, but when it happens between two players of the same team, it's even more so. Bowyer wanted the ball, Dyer didn't give it to him, so, like your 8 pupils, he goes and punches him square in the face. Both receive red cards, leaving Newcastle with 9 men. A smile and a handshake in front of the cameras a few days later, and everything was back to normal, except they still hated each other. Number 8, the medic slip. Call me old-fashioned, but I thought when the first aiders came on, it was to help the player who was injured. However, this medic seems to have gotten fed up with all the diving in football today and launched a ruthless 2-footed tackle on the player down injured. Okay, so maybe it was just an innocent slip, but it was still fun to watch, and if that player was faking an injury, it must have been karma. If all medics were like that, perhaps we wouldn't get so much diving. Number 7, keeper own goal. Own goals are an unfortunate part of football. Some are more spectacular than others, but I don't think there are any as stupid as this one. In Japan, the Minami goalkeeper, instead of throwing the ball to one of his own players, instead threw it straight into his own goal. Interestingly, despite not being allowed to score directly from a throw, this goal counted, and the goalie was forced to suffer the embarrassment of picking the ball out of his net in front of thousands. Number 6, Paolo Di Canio versus Paul Alcock. Yes, that crazy Italian, Paolo Di Canio, makes his second appearance on this list. After a small scuffle with Martin Keown and other Arsenal players, Di Canio received the red card from referee Paul Alcock. A soft push from Di Canio followed, and Paul Alcock made one of the most undignified falls ever. He just looked like he just lost his footing on a drunken night out. Nigel Winterburn let Di Canio know what he thought of him while he was leaving the pitch. A giant flinch from Di Canio's smallest movement was enough to shut him up. Number 5, referee falls over. It is often said that refs become refs because they love football, but are rubbish at it. Well, this goes the same way for proving that theory. We all love seeing referees falling over, but this is probably the best of them all. He tries a little backheel to give the ball back, but somehow manages to tumble over, landing straight on his embarrassed face. Number 4, Robbie Savage versus everyone. It's safe to say that Robbie Savage is not the most popular footballer in the world. Judging by this clip, he isn't exactly the luckiest either. He always seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I'm sure the fans couldn't think of a player who deserves it more than Robbie Savage. Any one of these clips could have made it onto this list alone, be it the attacks on him by his teammates, his opponents, or even the ref. Number 3, Rene Higuita's scorpion kick. Only Rene Higuita would do this, as the ball came in from Jamie Redknapp. Instead of catching it like a normal keeper, Higuita chose to shake things up a bit and did the now famous scorpion kick. Football fans worldwide still try to do the scorpion kick to this day, and almost everyone knows about it. In a weird and wonderful career from the crazy goalkeeper, this probably stands out as the craziest moment. Number 2, Chris Brass own goal. Probably the funniest own goal ever, certainly the funniest I've ever seen. In an attempt to clear the ball over his own head, Chris Brass smashed it into his own face, and the ball ended up in the net. To add insult to injury, or rather injury to insult, Brass broke his own nose in this freak accident. That just makes it all the funnier. Number 1, stretcher mistakes. There are two under this category. The first I think is the best, after they spend a few good seconds saying which way they'll go and still both go different ways. Just imagine being the injured player in the second. I'm sure when you're lying on a stretcher, injured, that would be pretty high on the list of things that you wouldn't want to happen. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.